Okay, let's dive into this. Welcome to the Explainer. Now, if you're tuning in, you already know all about that raw, unbridled emotion that international football brings, right? But today, well, we're doing something a little bit different. We are taking the sheer, heart-stopping chaos of the 2022 World Cup knockout stages and dissecting it. We're going to break down the anatomy of these massive historic moments into a clear, structured narrative. So, buckle up because we are going straight into the deep end.
Mbappé into the galaxy of great and France alive again. I mean, wow, just listen to that. You can literally feel the kinetic energy of that moment. This right here is exactly the kind of chaotic, high-stakes adrenaline that defines knockout football. When the whole tournament is on the line, that margin for error completely evaporates. 1 second you're out, and the very next, a single player launches themselves into the stratosphere to keep an entire nation breathing. That frantic, do-or-die atmosphere, that is the exact lens through which we'll be analyzing everything today.
Section 1. The magic of the knockout, setting the stage.
Section 2. Milestones and miraculous runs, history in the making.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the sheer historical gravity of the knockout stage. Let's pause the chaos for a second. This isn't just about advancing to the next round, you know. This is where lifelong dreams are realized, where records that have stood for generations are just violently shattered. 1,000 games. Just take a second to feel the sheer weight of that number. Lionel Messi stepping onto the biggest stage of all, playing his 1,000th professional match. And the truly incredible part? He's only gone and done it again. In his 1,000th game, amidst all that suffocating pressure, all those impossible expectations, he still excels. He still finds the back of the net. It perfectly frames the immense expectation placed squarely on the shoulders of the sport's greatest veterans.
And speaking of heavy expectations, let's look at a fascinating contrast. On one hand, you have Harry Kane, standing over a penalty in the absolute white heat of a World Cup quarterfinal. He keeps his head to equal Wayne Rooney's all-time goal-scoring record for England. That is an intensely individual, incredibly heavy burden of expectation wearing a white shirt. But then contrast that with Yusuf and Ensiri, a towering header, literally a mountainous moment that kept the Moroccan miracle alive. This wasn't just about a record. This was a proper old-school center-forwards goal that lifted an entire collective nation on its shoulders. So it's this brilliant clash, right? Individual milestone versus collective towering triumph.
And you know, history is so often written through sheer perseverance. Take Olivier Giroud, who became France's all-time top scorer by converting a seriously dangerous cross. The absolute crucial lesson from Giroud's monumental achievement: if at first you don't succeed, try and try again. It really is the defining mentality of these veterans. Just like Lionel Messi battling through the entire tournament, eyes locked on the prize, finally conquering his final peak. It's that utter refusal to quit that etches their names in stone.
Let's move to and see how this builds. Section 3. Precision, power, and technique. The anatomy of a knockout goal.
We've talked about the history and the incredible achievements. Now let's actually analyze the mechanics. I want to freeze time right here to look at the tactical genius of the Netherlands' free kick against Argentina. Step 1. The entire stadium, and I mean the entire Argentina defense too, expects a direct shot. Step 2. They completely bait and switch. They roll the ball short, catching Argentina completely by surprise. And Step 3. The brilliant calculated finish from Wout Weghorst. It's an absolute masterclass in exploiting expectation and delivering a lethal scripted blow when the opposition is bracing for something else entirely.
But hey, technique isn't always about a pre-planned set piece. Sometimes it's about a sudden, totally devastating transition. Look at this concept of the je ne sais quoi. This right here is exactly what made the French team so terrifying to play against. Literally 1 minute, they are under attack, seemingly pinned on their back foot. And the very next minute, a French flourish. Absolute poise and panache. A sudden sprinkling of star quality from Kylian Mbappé finding a tiny pocket of room and using it beautifully. It's that terrifying ability to just flip a switch and instantly apply elegant, devastating pressure.
Of course, sometimes technique is just about raw, unfiltered kinetic power. Take João Felix delivering a mighty thundered hit for Portugal on an absolute dream night. Or Paik Singho providing a genuinely enjoyable finish to save some face amidst a really tough scoreline for South Korea. But I really want you to notice Theo Hernandez here, grabbing the game by the scruff of the neck, getting his foot up to almost shoulder height, which, by the way, is incredibly difficult to do while keeping the ball down, getting right over the top of it and just driving it down into the floor. That is world-class technique perfectly executed in a fraction of a second.
And this brilliantly illustrates the vast spectrum of knockout techniques. On one side, we have Mislav Orsic for Croatia. It just goes to show you don't always have to put your head down and belt the leather off the ball. Orsic controlled it, almost felt it, and guided it so beautifully into the far corner to restore their lead. Now contrast that calculated, surgical precision with Richarlison's goal. Juggling the ball nicely, delivering a gorgeous goal that is essentially Brazilian football in a nutshell. Two completely different philosophies of technique, right? Calculated guidance versus joyful, juggling flair, and both are equally lethal. Now, let's break down a sequence of pure, marvelous mischief from classic Messi. Step 1, he is boxed in tight on the touchline by Gvardiol, who is arguably the defender of the whole tournament. Step 2, he miraculously slips by him. Step 3, he beats the defender again. And step 4, he sets up Julian Alvarez for the perfect finish. I mean, we all thought maybe he couldn't do this anymore at his age, right? But on the biggest stage, when it absolutely matters most, he completely dismantled a world-class defender step by step just to remind us all, yeah, he still has it.
Section 4. The Ultimate World Cup Final, a clash of titans.
We are now entering the chaotic, defining battle between Lionel Messi and Kylian Mbappé. The pacing of the tournament reached an absolute fever pitch right here. Di Maria goes tumbling. A penalty is given. A breath, a heartbeat, and Messi a goal forevermore. Perhaps his moment for infinity. The whole stadium just holds its breath. Messi converts, and that initial Argentine euphoria sets in. In that isolated moment, the narrative seemed completely written. The crowning achievement felt absolutely inevitable.
But then, bam, the devastating counterpunch. Oh wow, he is an awesome force of nature, brutal and brilliant. In the absolute blink of an eye, it's 2 each in the World Cup final. The sheer, frantic vocal delivery from the commentators completely matched the wild reality on the pitch. When you are desperate, when you want your top man, your superstar to come to the fore, Kylian Mbappé does exactly that, dragging France back from the dead with raw, unyielding power.
So the crucial point is how Mbappé completely defied all conventional footballing logic here. Just listen to the commentary. No, don't volley it from there. Take a touch or two. What about that for the connection? Literally any coach on the planet would tell you to control it first. But Mbappé, he ignores logic. He ignores the safe play. He connects with a perfect, impossible volley exactly when his team needed a miracle the most. That right there, that is the anatomy of an icon.
And then, just as the breathless exhaustion of extra time really sets in, the pendulum swings yet again. Lionel Messi perhaps has just scored the winning goal in this World Cup final. The flag goes up, the referee points to the center circle, and the tension is just agonizing. It was a scrambled goal that seemed to finally close the book on the story once and for all. You can literally feel the sheer heavy exhaustion in those words, thinking the fight was finally over.
Yet, incredibly, the chaos still wasn't done. Just consider the sheer weight of these facts. 101 extraordinary minutes already played. A sudden, desperate shout for a handball. It hits Montiel on the arm. A penalty given to France just to stay alive. It was the absolute final gasp of a dying match, requiring ice in the veins just to keep breathing in the tournament. The pressure mapped out in these final moments is almost suffocating just to think about.
Section 5. A legacy set in stone. Football immortality.
Let's take a deep breath and just slow the pace down for a second. We've traced the incredible milestones, we've broken down the jaw-dropping techniques, and we've walked through this wild emotional roller coaster to lay bare the structure underneath it all. So, I'll leave you with this question. Which of these moments will define the 2022 World Cup for you? Was it the impossible volley, the beautifully calculated free kick, or maybe the sheer unbreakable will of a veteran claiming his final peak? Go rewatch that historic footage with this new architecture in mind, and I promise you, you'll see the game in a whole new light. Until next time, keep learning and keep analyzing.